Hans Schroeder is one of the most important people in media, also sports media, as the executive vice president of media distribution for the NFL. I always say that, you can talk about Netflix, you know, about YouTube, who decides where we're going in terms of media in this environment. I think the NFL is, if not the biggest player, as big a player as anyone. So really appreciate you giving us the time to give us some insight into everything that's going on with you guys.
Great. No, thank you for having me. And if it's off the record, so we can start. So just a little bit of story about how we got here. Love to do it. So definitely Andrew will do it. One of the first questions, what is this? Okay, we tape it. It'll be video too. Okay, what do we need to wear? What's the dress code? Andrew then sends an email that says, well, here's what I'm going to wear. It's going to be blue jeans, a white shirt, and a jacket. So we got one of the three right. So like it is, but the rest, it feels a little bit of a bait and switch here. So with where we're going, so hopefully we're off to a good start.
We are. Well, it is off the record, but it's really on the record, which I was told. I don't know if this is accurate, but Bob Costas had a show On the Record with Bob Costas, which I was told, though, he wanted it to be called, in hindsight, Off the Record. So I think I'm ahead of the curve. So it is on the record. Do you really want me to tell this? I told you in the backstage, when I was taking my shower, I had the jeans out. They got wet. So I had to change, and that's where we got with this outfit. So I had to...
And away we go.
And we had to call an audible. I want to start a little background on you. You, and football's in your blood. Growing up, your dad, big-time coach. Just can you give us a little background of just Hans Schroeder, playing football, how football impacted your life as a kid and growing up?
Absolutely. Yeah, you hit where it started. Was born in the youngest of three to my mom and dad. My mom was a great athlete too. My dad was a great high school athlete. Actually played 5 sports at one of the biggest high schools in Cincinnati in 1 year. They actually passed a rule in high school that you could only play 1 sport that year after that. But he went on to play football at the University of Cincinnati. He then was a coach at West Point, the head coach at the Coast Guard Academy with the AD of Otto Graham, then went back to West Point and worked in sports for the rest of his career. My 2 older siblings were All-American swimmers, one at North Carolina, one at Williams. So very athletic family, but certainly dad with the football first focus in our household. And from the earliest memories, from literally being a little tyke, going to his office at West Point and getting to meet Lehman Hall, who was the West Point quarterback in the late 70s, and hiding under his desk because I was a little kid and just embarrassed to meet him, but it was my dream and favorite player at the time. And that started a love. There was football on a lot in our households. There was a race to the driveway every morning to get the sports section. I was lucky enough, and football's been formative to me, to play through high school. I had an ACL tear my senior year, but still was fortunate that Princeton recruited me and was able to play at Princeton, win our Ivy title our senior year, the first in a long time at Princeton, and develop really lifelong friends. So that opened the door to Princeton, which then opened the door to ultimately get a job in finance right out of school and sort of really start me on my career. But at the core of it was a love for football that, for me, was always trying to get a job like I have today, and incredibly lucky to say, I'm able to do what I do and love what I do and love the people I do it with, about a sport I love. So
before we get to the business, one more thing. What type of player were you? What position? How good were you?
I was a pretty average player. I was a receiver my first 2 years, and then hurt my knee again my junior year, played safety, and then was our nickelback my senior year on the football team. So.
Okay, now let's turn to football and the NFL. The thing about the NFL, it's the most dominant sports league in the world. Your recent contracts were for in excess of $110 billion. But the thing about that sticks out from your job and what you guys do in your office is it feels like complacency. You're always trying to build and build and build and grow. Where does that come from? Why is it that way at the NFL?
Look, I'd like to say, it's a pretty talented, passionate set of colleagues, teammates that we get to work with. But really, it stems from the top and the commissioner. I mean, he is passionately persistent about how we can get better, how we can innovate, how is there an opportunity to do what we do better, really for our fans, our teams, the league, first and foremost, our partners. He brings that every day in my 24 plus years at the NFL. It's really a consistent leadership aspect to Rodgers of how can we really get better? Where can we get better don't ever be complacent. There's always something, some way we can find a way to better serve our fans, our teams, our partners, and let's try to do that.
Andrew, back here in the studio, reminding you we're presented by WSC Sports. Use digital asset management if you're a league, your team, or a network. Highlights in seconds using digital asset management. To listen to the rest of the podcast, andrewmarchand.com, andrewmarchand.com, all our archives. Now back to my interview with Hans Schroeder.
When you look at your career, and you've been at the NFL for almost a quarter century now, is there a thing that you're most proud of that you've been able to accomplish in terms of innovating, in terms of doing things differently? Where when you look at that and what you guys have tried to accomplish, what do you look at?
You know, it's a great question. You know,